Russia's scientific teams embarked on a historic expedition to Antarctica, returning with shocking discoveries, something never believed to exist.
So many things on this planet are not what they seem. These include many things that many people have taken for granted, like some popular facts in quotes about the Antarctic. While many of these claims may have political undertones, Russia has revealed some shocking discoveries that will challenge what you thought you knew about this large tract of ice-cold land. What has Russia revealed and how do the discoveries affect you? Join us as we dive deep into how Russia reveals that the Antarctic is not what we're being told. Looking at the sparse white expanse of land Antarctica is today, it's easy to assume it's always been that way. However, that is not the case because many years ago, things were starkly different. Antarctica used to be much warmer than it is now. Previous research discovered that the continent had diverse vegetation and average temperatures ranging from 30 to 51 degrees Fahrenheit just before 40 million years ago, or -1 to 10 degrees Celsius. Dinosaurs, yes, those same legendary animals once roamed its lush polar forests, and even after the non-avian dinosaurs died out, Antarctica remained largely unfrozen for tens of millions of years into the Cenozoic. But all of that changed around 34 million years ago when global temperatures dropped by an average of 5 degrees Celsius, allowing the Antarctic ice sheets and glaciers to form. The reason for the big freeze in Antarctica remained a mystery, but a team of scientists has discovered the answer. Interestingly, there were two leading theories for the reason Antarctica is the frozen landscape that it is today, but scientists have now combined those two theories to shed more light on the history of the region. The first explanation comes down to global climate change. Carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere have steadily declined since the beginning of the Cenozoic era 66 million years ago, according to scientists. Once CO2 levels fell below a critical level, cooler global temperatures allowed Antarctica's ice sheets to form. But what about the second theory? That one focuses on dramatic changes in ocean circulation patterns. According to the theory, when the Drake Passage, which connects the southern tip of South America to the Antarctic, deepened dramatically around 35 million years ago, it caused a complete reorganization of ocean circulation. According to the argument, the increased separation of the Antarctic landmass from South America resulted in the formation of the powerful Antarctic Circumpolar Current, which acted as a kind of water barrier, effectively blocking warmer, less salty waters from the North Atlantic and Central Pacific from moving southwards towards the Antarctic landmass, resulting in the isolation of the Antarctic region and lower temperatures that allowed the ice sheets to form. A group of scientists has now found a way to link the two explanations, and they claim it is the best way to understand the origins of this phenomenon. According to them, the deepening of the Drake Passage caused a change in ocean circulation, directing warm waters northward in circulation patterns similar to those found in the Gulf Stream, which currently warms northwestern Europe. This shift in ocean currents as warmer waters were forced northward resulted in an increase in rainfall, which resulted in lower carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere beginning around 35 million years ago. As carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere fell as a result of a process known as silicate weathering, in which silica-bearing rocks are slowly worn away by rainfall, allowing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere to eventually become trapped in limestone, there was such a significant drop in CO2 in the atmosphere that ice sheets could form rapidly in Antarctica, causing it to experience glaciation. And supporting these theories is the discovery of intriguing evidence of lost continents. Antarctica is made up of multiple cratons, which are the cores of previous continents. This observation points back to the disintegration of the supercontinent Gondwana and the connection of Antarctica to the surrounding continents. The findings contribute to the understanding of fundamental Earth tectonics and the interactions of Antarctica's land and ice sheets. Due to being so remote and buried in ice, Antarctica is a bit of a blank spot on the geologic map. But to fill in the gaps, the researchers used data from the European Space Agency's Gravity Field and Steady-State Ocean Circulation Explorer (GOCE) satellite. From 2009 to 2013, GOCE orbited Earth collecting data on the planet's gravity field. Gravity's pull varies slightly from place to place on Earth, depending on topography and the density of the planet's interior. Goche provided the data for a full gravity map of the planet by measuring these changes. The scientists then used other satellite data to virtually remove the ice from Antarctica, allowing them to focus on the bedrock beneath. They discovered evidence of the continent's past as part of Gondwana, a supercontinent made up of modern Southern Hemisphere continents that broke up about 180 million years ago. East Antarctica's crust is thicker than West Antarctica's, measuring between 25 and 37 miles or 40 and 60 kilometers thick compared to 12 and 22 miles or 20 and 35 kilometers thick. The East Antarctic crust is also a jumble of old cratons, including the Mawson Craton, which has a matching fragment in southern Australia. The new data reveal more complexity in East Antarctica's ancient cratons than was previously known. The modern-day continent also contains orogons, which are crumpled-up regions where ancient continents would have collided to form mountains. Another intriguing but related discovery was a low-density area beneath Marie Byrd Land in West Antarctica. The presence of this low-density portion of the planet's upper mantle, that is, the layer beneath the crust, may be due to an ancient mantle plume. Mantle plumes are areas in the mantle where hot blobs of rock rise like lava lamp lumps. They can occasionally result in the formation of volcanoes. According to the researchers, the Antarctic mantle plume dates from the last 66 million years. However, while you might have been taught that the discovery of Antarctica was made in the early 19th century, an ancient map, the Piri-Reis map that was discovered, proved that humans have known about this frozen place for much longer. However, the Piri-Reis map is a highly controversial piece of document, and it is not surprising that some people, especially the authorities, try very hard to suppress it because it can turn everything you've been taught upside down. But what exactly is the Piri-Reis map? It all began in 1929 when Gustav Deissmann, a German theologian, was working at the Topkapi Palace Library in Istanbul. He discovered a gazelle skin parchment in a stack of discarded items while cataloging antiques. Deissmann was astounded to see that this parchment had a map drawn on it that appeared to show the outline of South America. He saved the parchment, which has since become known as the Piri-Reis map. The map he studied had been drawn and signed in 1513 by Turkish cartographer Hagi Ahmed Muhuddin Piri, also known as Piri-Reis. Piri-Reis was a cartographer as well as a member of the Turkish Navy, where he rose to the rank of admiral. He stated that his source documents included 20 different maps and charts. 8 of them were Ptolemaic maps, that is, maps of the known world according to Hellenistic or Greek society in the 2nd century. 4 were Portuguese maps, 1 was Arabic, and 1 was drawn by Christopher Columbus. This simple piece of preserved gazelle skin has sparked heated debate in the world of cartography. For starters, the map depicts Antarctica nearly 300 years before it was discovered. It not only depicts Antarctica, but it also depicts the continent as a landmass before it was covered by its ice cap over 6,000 years ago. The fire of this controversy got more fuel after Professor Charles Hapgood published his theory about Antarctica in the book Maps of the Ancient Sea Kings in 1965. Hapgood of the University of New Hampshire had studied the Piri-Reis map with his students and discovered several mysteries that they couldn't explain. Not only was Antarctica missing its ice cap, but the map was drawn using the Mercator projection, a methodology not used by European cartographers until the late 16th century. Gerardus Mercator, a Flemish cartographer, invented the cylindrical map projection in 1569. The Greeks were able to create cylindrical maps by combining their understanding of the Earth as a sphere with astrological and geometric skills to calculate latitude and longitude. The use of the Mercator projection on the Piri-Reis map could be explained by his use of Greek maps in the creation of his drawing, but there was no explanation for Antarctica's inclusion without the ice cap. Hapgood and his students hypothesized that the Piri-Reis map had to be based on information dating back more than 4,000 years. The map introduces the theory of an ancient civilization that had the skills to navigate the world's oceans and accurately chart the lands they visited. This was long before any known sophisticated civilizations or well-defined languages. Hapgood went on to say that the topographical representation of the area inland from the coast was so accurate that this ancient super-civilization, in addition to their nautical and cartographic abilities, had to have aerial capabilities. This, of course, led to theories of alien civilizations or civilizations based on the lost city of Atlantis. Speaking of UFOs, there have been numerous reports of sightings in Antarctica. Among the most recent ones was a UFO crash site in Antarctica when a mysterious object was found on Google Maps. Mr. MBB333, a UFO YouTuber, posted footage of the discovery online, captioning it, "Looks like something might have landed in the middle of Antarctica, leaving a gouge in the snow. The object has the classic shape of a triangle craft. According to the YouTuber, something appears to have slid into the snow. It definitely favors the triangle craft shape. There is also a dent in the snow." Mr. MBB333 went on to analyze the object. It appears to be a black triangle craft. It appears to be a boomerang or a flying machine that landed in the snow out there. You can see what appears to be a winged craft sitting in Antarctica. He also indicated a nearby object that appeared to be the shadow of a pyramid in the snow. The video, which has received thousands of views, sparked a frenzied debate. One commenter said it definitely looks like a triangle craft of some kind in the snow there in Antarctica. Antarctica definitely contains much more evidence of objects from outside the planet. One of them is a Martian meteorite named Allen Hills 84001. This was not just a meteorite, as researchers claim it bears evidence of life on Mars. In 1996, researchers from NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston announced that they had discovered microbial fossils in the Allen Hills 84001 meteorite from Mars. ALH 84001 is a meteorite or a rock that fell from space to Earth. A meteorite hunting expedition discovered it in Antarctica in December 1984. ALH 84001 weighed about 4¾ pounds when it was discovered, or 1.93 kilograms. It was about 6 inches long by 4 inches by 3 inches, shaped like a rounded brick or a large potato, and partially covered with black glass like it was dipped in tar. When meteorites burn through the Earth's atmosphere, the glass, known as fusion crust, forms on all of them. But the interior of ALH 84001 was green, which piqued the expedition's interest. Back in civilization, however, the meteorite appears to be much grayer on the inside than green. ALH 84001 formed from molten lava approximately 4.5 billion years ago, which is referred to as its igneous age, possibly from an ancient Martian volcano. ALH 84001 is an igneous rock, like many others, that crystallizes from lava inside the Earth. ALH 84001 is also similar to an important group of igneous meteorites known as diogenites, and was classified as one of them until 1994, when Mittelfeld recognized its Martian origin. About 4 billion years ago, after ALH 84001 crystallized from molten lava and cooled, it was heated again and deformed by a strong shock. This heating and shock were most likely caused by a nearby asteroid or meteorite impact. Sometime after the impact, possibly around 3.6 billion years ago, a liquid flowed through ALH 84001, depositing rounded globules of carbonate minerals. These carbonate globules may contain Martian fossils. The only more recent event in ALH 84001 that we can see is another shock event. This shock could have been caused by the meteorite impact that launched ALH 84001 off of Mars. To get off Mars, ALH 84001 must have left its surface going faster than Mars's escape velocity, which is about 5 kilometers per second or about 11,000 miles per hour. Meteorite impact is the only known natural process that can move rocks so quickly. Volcanoes can't throw rocks that fast. If a large enough meteorite or asteroid collided with Mars, some rocks on the planet's surface would be blasted up faster than that escape velocity and could leave the planet entirely. Scientists have also discovered more evidence of the bombardment of Antarctica by foreign objects, and this time the marks left behind are so huge that other notable meteor impacts pale in comparison. The team of scientists used 2 gray satellites to discover the crater. With a span of more than 450 kilometers and hidden under 1.5 kilometers of the ice sheet, They're asking whether the impact did not cause the greatest mass extinction in Earth's history. It is most likely the result of a meteorite impact 250 million years ago. According to scientists, the force of the Wilkesland impact was catastrophic for Earth and its inhabitants at the time. Almost all life on Earth had been wiped out at that time. The discovery was made by a joint mission that attempted to measure anomalies in Earth's gravitational field to show how mass is distributed on the planet and how it changes over time. Further analysis of the data collected gave evidence of the almost 500-kilometer wide crater. Some scientists believe that an M-class asteroid primarily composed of metals is hidden in the depths of Antarctica near Wilkesland. This massive impact is thought to have thrown massive amounts of dust into the atmosphere, creating a hostile environment, months of darkness, and caustic acid rain that turned the planet into hell. Only a few ancient shellfish survived this blaze. Among them were the dinosaurs, which became the dominant group of animals over the next 200 million years. What appears to be a bleak future scenario ended the Permian Age about 250 million years ago. An estimated 80 to 90% of marine and terrestrial life died at the time. Scientists, however, debate how this mass extinction occurred 250 million years ago. Some researchers suspect meteorite impacts, while others suspect volcanic eruptions. But many scientists now believe that volcanic activity accompanied by massive CO2 emissions triggered the mass extinction. The East Antarctica impact crater is roughly 3 times the size of the Chicxulub crater on the Yucatan Peninsula. A meteorite had fallen there about 65 million years ago, possibly causing the eventual extinction of the dinosaurs. The meteorite that smashed the giant scar into the Antarctic crust, on the other hand, was several times the size of the dinosaur killer, with an estimated diameter of more than 45 kilometers. Even more stunning is the shocking magnetic anomaly scientists found under the ice near Russia's scientific research station in East Antarctica. A magnetic anomaly is a change in the magnitude of the Earth's magnetic field in comparison to the expected value for that location. The intensity of the Earth's field will be altered by large amounts of magnetic materials. In the 1990s, scientists drilled down into this area and discovered Lake Vostok. However, their work was halted just before reaching the water due to concerns about contaminating what could be a pristine ecosystem, leaving a number of unanswered questions. Before that, though, in the 70s, Russia began to suspect, using airborne radar, that they had inadvertently built their base at the tip of a large subglacial lake. In the years since, orbital radar mapping combined with surface seismological measurements has confirmed that Lake Vostok is the largest lake discovered in the last 100 years, hidden beneath 2 miles of solid ice. It is roughly the size of Lake Ontario, but much deeper in places, more than 3,000 feet and about 4 times the volume. The lake, which is still liquid and not frozen, has been isolated under the ice sheets for anywhere between 13,000 and 14 million years, depending on who you ask. Surface thermal scans show that the water temperature in the lake ranges from 10 to 18 degrees Celsius, indicating a subterranean heat source. In addition, the entire lake is covered by a sloping air dome several thousand feet high, formed by hot water melting the overlying ice just above the lake's surface. Russian core samples have revealed the presence of microbes, nutrients, and various gases such as methane embedded in the clear, refrozen lake water just above the dome. Such items are typical biological process signatures, and the lake thus has all the ingredients of an incredible scientific find: a completely isolated ecosystem, water, heat, respired gases, and current biological activity. As the lake's true size and composition became clear, the scientists saw it as an ideal testbed for plans to drill through the ice and explore the oceans of Jupiter's moon Europa. However, the mission was cancelled due to environmental concerns, but subsequent scans of the area have revealed something even more perplexing. Another team of scientists working under the auspices of the National Science Foundation began a series of unprecedented low-altitude aerial surveys over Lake Vostok, designed to chart gravitational, magnetic, and thermal activity beneath the ice. It was in this process that they made a stunning discovery. A massive magnetic anomaly covering the entire southeast shore of the lake was discovered. While natural processes could not have caused this remarkable anomaly, the reason or source remains unknown to scientists. One possibility is that the Earth's crust near the lake is simply thinner under this section of the Antarctic, having been stretched during the formation of the lakebed itself. This would cause a local magnetic anomaly. Another explanation is that the anomaly is caused by the accumulation of metals. Of course, it is not everything in Antarctica that remains a mystery forever. For example, scientists have just uncovered the explanation for a massive phenomenon in Antarctica known as polynya. Polynyas are basically holes, but very large holes. They are pretty useful for Antarctic animals such as seals, whales, and penguins, which swim beneath the sea ice and must surface to breathe and rest. However, a particular polynya known as the Weddell Sea polynya or Weddell polynya is unique. It was discovered in 1974 in early satellite images near an underwater mountain called Maud Rise, and it was massive, roughly the size of New Zealand. It reappeared in 1975 and 1976, despite the fact that air temperatures in the area were well below freezing. However, it appeared to have all but vanished after 1976. Scientists concluded that this large hole in the sea ice was possibly a long-extinct process, but it reappeared in 2016, slightly smaller, about the size of the state of Maine in the US. It then reappeared in 2017, and a study published linked the 2017 polynya to cyclone activity. However, as with many global phenomena, there may be more than one cause. This study shows that polynya is caused by a number of factors that all have to align for it to happen. Several of these things could happen in any given year, but unless you get them all, you don't get a polynya. Our technology is far superior to that of the 1970s, and the Antarctic has long been a source of fascination, both for the effects of climate change on the region and for the implications for the rest of the world. This meant that the team had access to a variety of data streams, including satellite data dating back decades. There was also data from the Southern Ocean carbon and climate observations and modeling, a system of floating instruments that drift in the Southern Ocean monitoring temperature, salinity, and current to 2,000 meters. This began in 2014, so there were a few years of data. In addition, for years, scientists have been outfitting Antarctic elephant seals with Argos systems instruments that include GPS and temperature and salinity sensors. This resulted in a third data stream. The recent polynyas formed as a result of a combination of factors, including unusual ocean conditions and a series of very intense storms that swirled over the Weddell Sea with almost hurricane-force winds. The researchers discovered that when strong ocean winds blow closer to the Antarctic coast, they increase upward mixing in the Weddell Sea near Maud Rise. Maud Rise then forces dense seawater around itself, creating a vortex above. For years, two of the floating instruments were caught in this vortex. When the sea is especially salty, as it was in 2016, winter storms can set off a circulation feedback loop in which warmer water from below rises to the surface and is chilled by contact with the air. This causes the water to become denser, causing it to fall back down to be replaced by more warm water, which then chills and sinks back down, and so on. All of this cycling in turn prevents sea ice from forming. According to the researchers, this could have further climate implications. This is due to a large amount of carbon sitting at the bottom of the Antarctic Ocean. This is normally gradually circulated throughout the world's oceans, but if winter winds become stronger and more frequent, as predicted by climate change, this could result in more polynyas circulating more bottom water to the surface. This deep reservoir of carbon has been locked away for hundreds of years, and it might get ventilated at the surface in a polynya through this really violent mixing. And if a large carbon outgassing event occurred multiple years in a row, it could really whack the climate system. Now, some of the discoveries in Antarctica are quite creepy, including an ice shelf that is singing. The Ross Ice Shelf in Antarctica, the size of Texas, is emitting sounds similar to a didgeridoo or a horror film soundtrack. The wind whips across the snow dunes, causing the ice to vibrate and produce sounds. The discovery of the sounds, in addition to being eerie, reveals new insights for the study of glaciers. When humans burn fossil fuels, heat-trapping gases are released into the atmosphere, contributing to ocean warming and ice melting. Because of this warming trend, sea levels are rising as land-based ice melts and ocean molecules expand. An ice shelf is like a cork in a bottle. If the ice shelves break up, the restraining force is reduced, and ice can flow faster from Antarctica's interior into the ocean, increasing the rate of contribution to sea level rises. The scientists behind this discovery learned how the deployment of sensitive seismographs could change the way glaciers are studied. They placed the instruments near the top of the ice shelf and were able to capture the haunting frequencies. The researchers collected data for 2 years and discovered that the Ross Ice Shelf nearly continuously sings at frequencies of 5 cycles or more. Let's hear which of these discoveries you find the most fascinating in the comments section below.